In this video, you will learn what contactless payments are and how they work. What are contactless payments? Well, quite simply, a contactless payment is when you wave your smartphone or credit card at the top of the credit card terminal in a store and payment is made instantly. There's no need to dip your chip or swipe your Stripe. You've likely heard of this before. You may know it as Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, or Google Pay. All of these are contactless ways to pay. When you pull out your phone and wave it like a magic wand for payment, that is contactless payment. Many cards also have the ability to be used in this contactless manner. Newer credit cards with this symbol on them, it kind of looks like a sidewise Wi-Fi logo, can tap and go. This tech, it goes by a number of different names. You can call it tap and go, tap to pay, NFC, contactless, touchless, and even mobile payments. These new cards are rolling out in the United States slowly, but they're already really popular in many other countries. We're going to talk more about that in other videos on this channel. You should subscribe to our channel right now to ensure that you see those videos. And by the way, we have made a special checklist for you on the 10 ways to make Salesforce payments safe, easy, and profitable. So I want you to check out the link in the description below. So now that we know what contactless payments are, how do contactless payments work? Well, in technical terms, contactless payments use a technology called Near Field Communication, or NFC as it's commonly called. And NFC, it's based on radio frequency identification, or RFID. So when you pull out your phone or a card to tap a payment, it works just like you might use a key card to access your office building. A tech like this has been around since the 80s, but it's only been the last 5 years that pretty much all smartphones contain NFC antennas. Now, devices with NFC chips like your phone or newer cards, they must come within 4 centimeters, or for us Americans, 1.6 inches, of the other device in order to communicate. A physical touch, it's not actually required, and I recommend not touching the terminal with your card or your phone. That's how the cool kids do it. That is what contactless is and how it works. In this video, you will learn why we should all be using contactless payments. The first reason is that when you use contactless payments, you don't even have to touch the terminal or the PIN pad, which is very important in these pandemic times, and it's probably good hygiene in general, I would argue. Secondly, you can check out way more quickly. You spend less time in the store. Simply unlock your phone and hold it close to the payment terminal, or do the same thing with your touchless enabled credit card. And you're done, that's it. The average contactless payment, it takes just half of a second. So why aren't all payments touchless? Well, actually, according to data from Visa, outside of the United States, nearly 60% of all point-of-sale payments are now tap to pay. Australia, they've been tap happy for a long time, with most Australian credit cards being NFC enabled. Down under, 75% of face-to-face Visa transactions are done with contactless tap to pay. Up north in Canada, more than 95% of credit cards are NFC enabled, and over 75% of retailers accept contactless payments. 64% of the cards in the UK are NFC enabled, and 96% of cards in South Korea are ready for contactless payments. Here in the States, we are simply lagging. In the US, things are just, well, slower. According to a study published in 2018, only an estimated 3% of US credit cards were contactless enabled. US cardholders have simply not been given cards with this capability. So many credit card companies are really slow to reissue credit cards with contactless capabilities, which seems weird after they recently reissued all of our cards to have those EMV chips in them. You probably remember that back in 2016, we all got new chip cards. And it sure would have been nice if the card issuers would have paid that extra 35 cents per card to put the NFC antenna in there. I'm quite confident that adoption would be way, way higher if they'd actually done that. So quick pro tip, if you call your bank and ask, they will reissue you a contactless enabled card. All you need to do is ask. Of course, not every single card supports it, but you should call and ask. In this video, you will learn how contactless adoption is improving and how it's impacting retail payments here in the US. So just a quick reminder about something we've covered before on this channel, that outside of the US, 60% of all face-to-face retail payments are done with touchless NFC-enabled devices, while here in the US, In 2018, 0.18%, yes, that's 18 out of 10,000 transactions were done with Tap to Pay. What on earth is going on? And by the way, we have made a special checklist for you on the 10 ways to make Salesforce payments safe, easy, and profitable. So I want you to check out the link in the description below. Right now, we're in the depths of the coronavirus pandemic, and contactless adoption is finally accelerating very quickly here in the United States. According to data from Visa, 31 million Americans tapped a card or used a mobile device for payment in March of 2020. That's nearly 50% higher than had done so 6 months earlier. During the first quarter of 2020, as the global pandemic worsened, MasterCard reported a 40% jump in contactless payments. That's crazy phenomenal growth, practically unheard of. A survey of American consumers in April of 2020 showed that they were 16% less likely to pay with cash, which is hardly surprising considering that peer-reviewed scientific studies have shown that cash carries germs. As retailers, we all need to be thinking about meeting our customers where they are. As that survey indicates, your customers don't want to handle cash, and they do want to get in and out of your store quickly without touching terminals or cash. In my opinion, this makes Tap to Pay a requirement of doing business today. So just a quick point on security. You might know that there are some folks that think there may be a security issue with contactless. Well, allow me to belay those fears for you. The NFC signal is encrypted with bank-level encryption. So that signal, it can't be easily read by an outsider. And with the very short distance that it takes for NFC to work, the reality is that a monkey-in-the-middle type attack, it's very unlikely. And finally, there are safeguards to prevent things like double billing. So security, it's actually better with NFC than it is with the classic mag stripe, and it's on par with the EMV chip. If you learned something today, subscribe to this channel. If you're a retailer that would like help with your contactless payments, you can find my contact details in the description of this video. Get in touch with me today. As you know, at Chargent, we are always here to help.